After 25 years in Congress, one of the most powerful Republicans in Washington is calling it quits. Now at 4, reaction to Speaker of the House John Boehner's decision to resign.
Rains continue to overspread much of central and eastern Kentucky. We're tracking a soaking just ahead.
Dozens of dogs are now at a southern Kentucky animal shelter. How they ended up there and the shelter's plea for help. Now at 4.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 4.
Good afternoon. I'm Jennifer Palumbo. Our streak of dry and sunny days has come to an end. Rain has moved into the bluegrass. Here's a live look at Triangle Park, where it's sprinkling right now. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey shows us what's on the First Alert Defender. Chris?
Yeah, Jennifer, as expected today, the rain's picking up first in eastern Kentucky, now getting into parts of central Kentucky. Everything going in reverse, and starting to see the rains coming down here at the station on Winchester Road as well. Current temperature here at the station now down to 65 degrees. Some lighter rains. Winds are very gusty out of the east, and so far we've just barely dampened the ground. We'll see the rains picking up though over the next little bit. Big area of low pressure across the southeastern seaboard. Rain coming in on the northern side of that is going to continue to work its way on into the area, and those rains again across parts of central Kentucky picking up the pace a little bit. Even some very heavy downpours that are beginning to show up across parts of central and eastern Kentucky, where you see the dark green and especially the yellows and the oranges here across southern and eastern Kentucky. Boy, that's where it's really coming down now, around the Somerset area, down toward Monticello, Laurel County, over toward Beattyville into Lee County, and the rains again just now getting into parts of the Lexington metro. Tracking the rain potential, it continues to increase through the evening with some heavy downpours likely through the overnight. Jennifer, don't be surprised if between now and Sunday night, if some areas don't pick up greater than 1 inch of much needed rain. This is kicking off a busy pattern in the 7-day forecast that I'll share with you in 15 minutes.
Thank you, Chris. Speaker of the House John Boehner is calling it quits. The Ohio Republican will give up his gavel and step down from the seat he's held since 1990 at the end of October. Steve Nannis has the latest from Washington in our top story at 4.
An emotional John Boehner told reporters turmoil in the House led him to decide it was time to go.
I don't want my members to have to go through this. I certainly don't want the institution to go through this. And so, especially when, I knew I was thinking about walking out the door anyway.
Boehner has been under pressure from conservatives in his own party to take a stronger stance in support of their issues, like blocking federal funding for Planned Parenthood. At the Values Voter Summit in Washington, GOP presidential candidate Ted Cruz credited the conservative movement for forcing Boehner's hand.
Yesterday, John Boehner was Speaker of the House. You all come to town and somehow that changes. My only request is, can you come more often?
Boehner reached his final decision after presiding over a rare joint session of Congress addressed by Pope Francis. The speaker had planned to resign at the end of the year, but he says the decision to step down early was a simple one.
This morning I woke up and walked up to Starbucks as usual and got my coffee and came back and read and walked up to Pete's Diner and saw everybody at Pete's. And got home and thought, yep, I think today's the day.
President Obama praised Boehner at a news conference and sent a message to whoever the next speaker will be.
We can have significant differences on issues, but that doesn't mean you shut down the government.
Talks about who will replace Boehner are already underway. In Washington, I'm Steve Nannis reporting.
Some of Kentucky's congressional delegation is reacting to the news. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said, in his words, he is an ally, he is a friend, and he took over as Republican leader at a difficult time for his party. When some said Republicans could never recover, he never gave up. 5th District Congressman Hal Rogers said Speaker Boehner has led the House of Representatives with grace and dignity. His work to protect this institution has demonstrated his deep love for the Congress and all it stands for. Yesterday, UK men's basketball coach John Calipari was Boehner's special guest on Capitol Hill to hear Pope Francis address Congress. Coach Cal tweeted this photo of the two of them. A southern Kentucky animal shelter is full of dogs and pleading for help. The owner called for help after police say she became overwhelmed with nearly 30 dogs. Phil Pendleton has the latest from London. He continues our top stories at 4.
This animal shelter is not accustomed to getting this many dogs at one time. 29 dogs rescued from a home in Laurel County. Police tell me the woman simply became overwhelmed and didn't know what to do.
We ain't no problem.
Some of the dogs are Rottweilers, others breeds of various kinds, but police say all were well fed and had plenty of water. Some had mange and other health issues, but officers say the owner did the right thing in calling for help. Now the Laurel County Animal Shelter is bursting at the seams and is calling on people for help to adopt the dogs.
We got in 6 Rottweilers from that case, and the others that we got in are small and are mostly going to be rescue only to a nonprofit rescue group because they're needing medical attention for flea allergies and mange, and they need to be seen by a vet.
The animal shelter is closed now, but it will be open again tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Again, they say the need is great to adopt these dogs as soon as possible, because if they're not, the outcome is that some of them will have to be euthanized. In Laurel County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Police say they did let the owner, who lives on Rydell Road south of London, keep 5 of her dogs. It's a 13-year prison sentence for an eastern Kentucky man charged in a crash that killed 4 of his friends. Sean Harden was originally charged with murder and assault for the crash in August of last year in Breathitt County. Last month, he pleaded guilty to 4 counts of manslaughter and 1 count of assault. His attorney asked for probation, but a mother of one of the victims asked the judge to deny that.
There's not an ounce of me that thinks that that boy would get out of jail and do any better. And I got 2 more kids. What if he hits one of them head on drunk? Well, it's a mixed feeling, I guess. 13 years is nothing, but at least it's something.
Harden has about 10 months of credit for time already served. We'll have more from the courtroom on WKYT News at 5. Our reporters are working on a number of other stories for WKYT starting at 4:30. Amber Philpott joins us from the newsroom with a look at some of the news in progress. Good afternoon, Amber.
Good afternoon to you, Jennifer. A former Lexington firefighter was sentenced to 10 years in prison for a hit-and-run crash, and now surveillance video of that crash is being released. A jury found Jared McCargo guilty on 6 counts, including assault and DUI. Police say McCargo backed into the beer trap on Euclid Avenue last September, hitting National Guardsman Noel Espino. Espino lost his left leg in the crash. We'll have more on the surveillance video ahead on WKYT News at 6. Rowan County Clerk Kim Davis is in Washington, D.C. today. She took the stage at the Value Voter Summit. Davis was joined by others who feel they've been targeted for their religious beliefs. In a newly filed 40-page document, the Rowan County Clerk blames Kentucky Governor Steve Beshear for her legal troubles. She's suing Beshear, claiming the governor took control of the county clerk's offices and Kentucky marriage law when he ordered the state's 120 county clerks to issue licenses. Governor Beshear has asked a judge to dismiss the suit. We'll have more on this story on WKYT News at 6 as well. And state police are asking people and businesses in several Kentucky counties to be on the lookout for some funny money. This week, they shut down a counterfeiting operation and arrested a man. 41-year-old Daniel Rowe is charged with possession of a forgery device and fraudulent use of an EBT card. State police are asking businesses and people in Rowan, Bath, Montgomery, and Carter counties to be on the lookout for counterfeit bills because it's possible that more are still out there. We'll have more on this story ahead for you on WKYT News at 4:30. That is a look at some of the news in progress. Jennifer, back to you.
Thanks, Amber. Now to stories making headlines across the nation at 4. Pope Francis is in New York City today. This morning, he addressed 170 world leaders at the United Nations General Assembly. The Pope condemned environmental destruction and praised the Iran nuclear deal. His packed schedule also included a visit to the World Trade Center and 9/11 Memorial and a school in Harlem. Tonight, the Pope will celebrate Mass at Madison Square Garden. Pope Francis arrived in New York yesterday afternoon after his trip to Washington, D.C. Chinese President Xi Jinping is visiting the White House. He said China and the U.S. need to be frank about their disagreements in order to improve trust and understanding between the world's 2 largest economies. Xi spoke to dignitaries and invited guests from both countries at a welcoming ceremony. He said the sides need to keep the relationship moving forward despite their differences. Wall Street ends the week mixed. The Dow jumped 113 points to 16,315 thanks to a record close by Nike. It's gaining share from Adidas and Puma. The Nasdaq fell 48 and the S&P lost 1 point. People around the world lined up outside Apple stores waiting to buy the new iPhone 6s. There were only a handful of people camped outside Fayette Mall here in Lexington overnight. One customer says he arrived around 1:30 this morning to make sure he got the new phone.
If you're an Apple fan, you like the latest and the greatest, and it's supposed to be the best smartphone out there. So I'm off work today, and I just thought, you know what, might as well go on and get the phone, and then I'll trade in my old one.
Features of the new iPhone include a smarter Siri and a better camera. Starbucks president is now urging managers to improve workers' schedules. Stores got the internal memo Tuesday, just before the New York Times published an article detailing the problem. Last year, the coffee company vowed to make workplace improvements by posting schedules at least 1 week in advance. In addition, they vowed to make sure baristas didn't have opening and closing shifts back to back. A survey suggests the improvements were not put in action.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. It's one of my favorite fairy tales of all times. We're talking about Beauty and the Beast, and it is coming to life this weekend at the Lexington Opera House. Love what they're doing for this show, too. Luann Franklin from the Opera House with us. And I love it when you involve the community in the arts and what you guys are doing. This has been an important day for you all for the kickoff for Beauty and the Beast.
That's right. We've started a promotion in conjunction with our partner Fayette Mall. Looking for some books for Belle. Right. And we've reached out to the community and we've invited folks to donate books that will be given to the Carnegie Center for Literacy at the end of the weekend. And you can also text to win tickets, some highly desired tickets for Beauty and the Beast this weekend at the Opera House.
There's not many tickets left for Beauty and the Beast. It's such a popular show, and by giving back to others in the community, you guys are making it a win-win for everybody. Can folks bring those books to the Opera House this weekend?
They can. They can bring the books to the Fayette Mall or the Opera House all weekend long, and they can also text to win those 2 tickets to Sunday evening's performance. Text Books for Belle to 444-222 to be entered to win that contest, and we'll draw that tonight.
We are showing the beautiful Belle reading to some little ones here at Fayette Mall. Sam Hartley is with us, and Sam is the Beast. You're not looking much like a beast today, my handsome friend.
I clean up. I try.
As the Beast does at the end of the story, just in case. She probably shouldn't give that away. No. But what a great story, Beauty and the Beast.
Yes, it's great. It's a movie we grew up with. Brooke and I were just talking this morning about it was kind of our generation's Disney movie. It's just incredible to be able to get to tell this story to people across the country.
You said you've done professional theater for years, but this is your first tour. Yeah. This is so exciting. Yeah. You're getting to kick things off here in Lexington. Yes. Folks can come out and expect what this weekend?
Right. So it's a live, fully produced Broadway musical, Beauty and the Beast, same story that we know from the movie, extended with some new songs and beautiful costumes and the lighting design, set design. It's pretty great.
It is a beautiful story for sure. Very few tickets available. Don't forget, if you get those tickets, to bring some books for Belle and help out those here in our community. Coming up at 4:50, we are talking to the beautiful Belle from Beauty and the Beast. I'm Deanne Stevens, out and about at Fayette Mall. Show is running throughout the weekend at the Lexington Opera House. Back to you guys.
In this countdown to game time, Kentucky faces its first ranked opponent of the season. The Wildcats are 2-1 after losing to Florida last weekend at Commonwealth Stadium. They're hoping to bounce back tomorrow against 25th ranked Missouri. WKYT sports anchor Dave Baker is here to talk about it. This is a big game for UK.
Huge game, I think, in terms of what Mark Stoops wants to do with this program, a kind of measuring stick for where they are. We heard a lot in the preseason about where these guys think that they are, and there comes a time when you've got to zip up and strap it up, and that's what they got to do this weekend. They're just going to go out and play, and they've got to prove it against a Missouri team, Jen, that I don't think gets enough credit for what they've done.
And they're coming off the Florida game. It was a close one, 14-9. They really need this momentum to get them going again, and a win tomorrow would help.
It was a close game, but the mindset they got to have is if Florida doesn't throw that ball in the third quarter, they're up 21-3, and that stadium might start getting empty. They could have just as easily won the game, though. But that's how close the margin is right now for this Kentucky team. Patrick Towles has thrown 3 touchdown passes and 4 interceptions. Last year, he had like 360 yards rushing, and now he's got minus 14. I think it's all about expectations, and I think for most people, the defense has played better than people thought, and the offense has not played as well.
Kentucky is favored to beat Missouri. Let's talk about the Tigers. They're 3-0, but this is their first SEC game of the season. They've sputtered a little bit early on.
I personally don't gamble myself. Now, I don't know what they do. I don't know what they do over in the weather department, but the weather guys tell me that Missouri, the 2-time defending Eastern Division champ, has won 11 straight road games. I think they're probably the most underrated team in the SEC. When they came in the SEC, I think most people thought, oh, great, our team will beat them, and they got a big TV market, so that'll be more money for the network. But what they've done is they've just come in and played. They've been in Atlanta for that championship game 2 straight years. They've won 11 straight on the road. Did not play well last week when they beat UConn 9-6, but that doesn't mean that this is not a winnable game for Kentucky, but the margin is small. They've really got to execute.
One of their key players, too, Russell Hansbrough, their 1,000-yard rusher, has been out, and he comes back tomorrow.
The one thing to watch for, though, is ever since Missouri has been in the SEC, Gary Pinkel has had those great defensive linemen, Michael Sam and those guys that led the league in sacks and everything. And once you start having players like that, you bring more players in. We don't know the names yet, but they've got a great pass rush, and that's been the real Achilles heel for Kentucky, handling that pass rush and allowing Towles to have good lanes to throw in. He gets those tomorrow, and they can get this win.
What is your pick for tomorrow? What's your prediction?
I think it'll rain tomorrow. I think I want to be a weather guy. I think it's gonna. I think it's like 85% at kickoff. Bring a poncho, but I'll do my Micah Harris and say it won't be a total washout. How about that?
Kentucky gonna win?
I think if they can execute at the line of scrimmage, they'll win. If they can't execute at the line of scrimmage, it could be a long, wet night.
All right, let's get a good turnout from the Big Blue Nation. 7:30 tomorrow on the SEC Network. All right, Chris, Dave Baker says 85% chance of rain. What say you?
Not a total washout, though. Not a total washout.
What do you need me for here, Buzz?
Not a total washout.
You got it down, buddy. Here's the clicker. I'll go home for the rest of the night, buddy. I'll call it a weekend already. Yeah, folks heading out there tomorrow, we're not going to see the big wall of rain like what we're seeing out there right now across central and eastern Kentucky. Kickoff temperatures into the upper 60s, right around 70 for tailgating. And at any point tomorrow, we're due for a shower to make its way across the region. Now, will those showers kind of park themselves over Commonwealth Stadium? We will see in time. But as Buzz mentioned, take the poncho. Not a washout. But we do look at Defender as of now. Those high school football games, yeah, pretty much a washout this evening. A lot of mutters out there for those games across central and eastern Kentucky as the rain continues to increase. And again, it's coming at us against the grain from east to west. So ponchos this evening and maybe ponchos again tomorrow night heading out to Commonwealth Stadium. WKYT News at 4:30 starts right now.